Why does it have to be quick? Why does it have to be easy? Why do you think life is all quick and easy? Why can't it be hard and difficult? Why can't you suffer? Because suffering is what gives it value. If everyone had a six-pack and it was quick and easy, then it wouldn't be valuable, would it? If everyone walked around with a six-pack and they got it easily, then no one would give a shit. The whole point is that it's difficult to get. Value is linked to difficulty. If you want something that is valuable, you need something which is difficult to obtain. The fact that you just said you wanted it quick and easily shows that your whole mental model is f***ed. You shouldn't be thinking about quick and easy. You should be thinking about hard, suffering, pain, going through it. That's what you should be thinking about. This is going to be hard, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because when it is done, then everyone's going to know that I went through something difficult. Why do you want it to be quick and easy? Don't you understand how
it defeats the
mind is?
It defeats
Your mind is broken.
It defeats the purpose.
Your mind is broken.
The truth about overnight success, it doesn't exist. Men, let me tell you something that no one says out loud because it ruins the fantasy. Overnight success is a lie, not a misunderstanding, not an exaggeration, a lie. It's a story sold to you so you don't ask harder questions, so you don't look too closely, so you don't notice how much blood, loneliness, rejection, and silent suffering sits behind every sudden win you see online. You see the highlight. You don't see the years of darkness that came before it. And that lie is dangerous because it makes good men quit. Here's the truth most of you already feel in your bones. You're working hard, you're trying, and it still feels like nothing is moving. You look around and think, what am I doing wrong? You wonder if you're behind. You wonder if you missed your chance. You wonder if you're just average. That doubt eats at you late at night when no one's watching, when the noise is gone, when the phone is face down, when it's just you and your thoughts, and nobody prepared you for that part. Let's get real. No one told you that becoming something worth respecting would be this lonely. No one told you that growth feels less like motivation and more like grief because you're constantly killing off old versions of yourself. No one told you that discipline is boring, repetitive, and thankless for a long time. They just showed you the finish line and said, hustle harder. That's not guidance. That's abandonment. Here's what actually happens. Success is built in silence. In mornings where you wake up tired and do it anyway. In nights where you say no when everyone else says yes. In seasons where no one claps for you because they don't even know what you're building. And let me say this clearly, because some of you need to hear it. If you're not being ignored right now, you're probably not doing anything meaningful yet. The world only pays attention after you've already paid the price. Men, you don't lack motivation. You lack patience for discomfort. You want progress without humiliation, respect without being tested, results without looking foolish first. But the truth is brutal. You will look stupid before you look strong. You will be broke before you're stable. You will be doubted before you're trusted. There is no path around that. Only through it. Let's talk about the years nobody posts about. The years where you're grinding and still insecure. The years where you're improving but still invisible. The years where you're doing everything right and life still punches you in the mouth. Those years are not a punishment. They're the filter. They're what separates men who want success from men who can carry it. Because success is heavy. It amplifies who you already are. If you're weak inside, it breaks you. If you're empty inside, it exposes you. If you're undisciplined inside, it destroys you. That's why most men never get it, not because they're incapable, but because they'd self-destruct if they did. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Who are you when no one's watching? Not on social media, not around women, not around friends. Who are you when it's just you, alone, tired, frustrated, and disappointed with yourself? That's the man you're really building, and most men avoid that mirror at all costs. They numb themselves, they distract themselves, they blame the system, the economy, their parents, their past, but deep down, they know what they're not doing. They know where they're cutting corners, they know where they're lying to themselves, and that quiet self-betrayal stacks up over years. Here's a hard truth. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. Dreams are cheap. Habits are expensive. Habits cost sleep. They cost comfort. They cost your old identity. And most men would rather keep who they are than become who they say they want to be. Overnight success looks fast because you didn't see the decade of consistency behind it. You didn't see the failed attempts, the self-doubt, the moments they almost quit, the relationships that didn't survive the process. You didn't see the nights they questioned everything. And here's the part that really messes with people. The work doesn't feel heroic while you're doing it. It feels small. It feels repetitive. It feels invisible. That's why most men stop. Let me be clear with you, man to man. If you're waiting to feel confident before you act, you'll wait forever. Confidence is built after action, not before it. If you're waiting for validation, you're already lost. The world rewards results, not intentions. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, it doesn't exist. There is only now, and now is uncomfortable. This path will strip you. It will expose your excuses. It will reveal your weaknesses. It will force you to confront parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. And yes, it will hurt. But pain with direction is called progress. Pain without direction is called suffering. Choose wisely. Some of you are tired not because you're doing too much, but because you're doing the wrong things. You're busy but not disciplined, occupied but not focused, moving but not forward. And that's more exhausting than hard work. Understand this: nobody is coming to save you. No mentor, no perfect opportunity, no sudden breakthrough. If your life doesn't change, it's because you didn't change enough to require a new life. That's not cruel, that's empowering, because it means the power has always been in your hands. You don't need a miracle, you need standards. Standards for how you show up, standards for how you speak to yourself, standards for what you tolerate. Weak standards create weak lives. And the hardest part? Holding yourself accountable when no one else does. That's manhood. One day, if you don't quit, you'll wake up and realize something quietly shifted. Your reactions changed, your discipline sharpened, your self-respect solidified. Not overnight, gradually, invisibly. And people will say, "You're lucky." They'll say, "You blew up fast." They'll say, "It must be nice." Let them. They weren't there when it was dark. So if you're in that dark season right now, good. If you're frustrated, good. If you feel behind, good. If you're doubting yourself, good. That means you're stretching beyond who you used to be. Just don't quit. Don't escape. Don't numb. Don't lie to yourself. Do the boring work. Do the hard work. Do the unseen work. Because the truth about overnight success is simple. It only happens to men who are willing to be invisible long enough to earn it. And that right there is the real test. Stay in it. Men, listen closely, because this part isn't inspirational. It's a warning. If you stay on this path long enough, you will lose things. Not might, will. And no one talks about that part because it scares people away. There is a version of you that cannot come with you. The version that wants comfort. The version that wants approval. The version that wants to be understood. You're going to have to let him die. And death, even symbolic death, hurts. You will outgrow people who loved the old you. You will threaten people who were comfortable when you were small. You will confuse people who benefited from you staying the same. Some will call you arrogant. Some will say you've changed. They're right. Stagnation is the only version of you that feels safe to others. Here's something most men aren't ready to hear. Being respected is often colder than being liked. When you stop explaining yourself, when you stop chasing validation, when you stop negotiating your standards, the room changes. You'll feel it. Conversations get shorter. Invitations slow down. People test you in subtle ways. That's not rejection. That's recalibration. Power, real power, comes from self-control. Not dominance, not volume, not intimidation. The most dangerous man in the room is the one who doesn't react emotionally, doesn't need to prove anything, doesn't need permission. That kind of calm scares people because it can't be manipulated. Let's talk about anger. Most men are angry not because life is unfair, but because they're undisciplined with their potential. Anger is unused energy. Energy you didn't put into the work, words you didn't say when you should have, standards you didn't enforce, so it leaks out sideways into resentment, escapism, and self-sabotage. Control that anger, turn it into precision. A man who can aim his aggression is unstoppable. A man who can't is predictable. You're going to reach moments where quitting would make sense, not emotionally, logically, when the numbers don't add up, when the results don't justify the effort, when the silence feels personal. This is where men separate. Because anyone can grind when there's hope. Only a few can endure when there's nothing but principle. When you keep going, not because it's working, but because this is who you decided to be. That's integrity. Here's the brutal reality. Most men don't fail. They fade. They slowly lower their standards. They negotiate with their weaknesses. They tell themselves comforting stories. I'll lock in next month. I deserve a break. It's just this once. And 10 years later, they're still saying the same things, same excuses, same regrets, same unrealized version of themselves haunting them in the mirror. Discipline is not about intensity, it's about identity. You don't rise by trying harder. You rise by deciding who you are and refusing to violate that decision. A man with a code doesn't need motivation. He needs consistency. There will be moments where you feel empty, not sad, not depressed, empty. That's the space where your old identity used to live. Most men panic there. They rush to fill it with noise, pleasure, or people. Don't sit in it. That emptiness is fertile ground. That's where clarity is born. Let me say something important. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be relentless. Relentless about showing up. Relentless about telling the truth to yourself. Relentless about not returning to the man you promised you'd outgrow. Progress is quiet. Regression is comfortable. Choose wisely. One day, you'll notice something strange. You don't talk as much. You don't explain yourself. You don't argue with people who misunderstand you. Not because you're bitter, but because you're focused. Your energy becomes too valuable to waste. And when success finally arrives, if it does, it won't feel how you imagined. There won't be fireworks, no dramatic music, no sense of arrival, just a calm realization, I can trust myself now. That's the real reward. Not money, not status, not recognition, self-respect. So if you're still here, still pushing, still uncomfortable, still disciplined when no one's watching, you're not lost. You're early. And the men who quit will never understand the man you're becoming. That's fine. This path was never meant to be crowded.